Hey everybody, Helen Parsons with healthyjourneyhelenparsons.com. I want to talk about specifically, I guess, anxiety today, but it's a much broader topic. There are all sorts of disorders, all sorts of syndromes, all sorts of, whatever labels that people have, names, titles for the various things that plague us as human beings and the things that we often wish that we didn't have to deal with, and we feel like we're the only ones and all of our friends don't have this, and why are we the weird one? Why do we have this and everybody else is doing just fine? And it's not the case. I think that, first of all, whether I've had anxiety, pretty severe anxiety, on and off since I was about 19. In my 19, early 20s, I had horrendous panic attacks. I mean, like, make me stay at home, not go to a grocery store or a mall kind of panic attacks. We got those under control. I was also about the same time diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder. And anybody who knows me is going to be like, oh, well, yeah. But it's actually not what you think. It's not about like, I am not a neat freak. I don't clean my house obsessively. It manifests itself differently for different people. So these are things that, I'm not close to 19 anymore, I've obviously lived with for the majority of my life, and I've had to learn how to live with and cope with and just have as a part of who I am. I mean, it's never made me really happy that I have either one, but I do. So I think that we tend to... Probably today, it's a more, I think people talk about these things a little bit more. When I was first diagnosed with anxiety, you didn't talk about it, and that made it worse because I never felt like there was somebody that I could talk to about it. But so it was like something you kept inside and you put a lid on it, and it made it even worse. So what you do when you can't talk to anybody about it is you try to find your own remedies for it. So you start to self-medicate. And that's not good. That didn't lead to a good place for me, because my doctor was medicating me, and then I started to self-medicate, and it was not a good combination. It actually made my anxiety much worse. Finally, long story short, we got things under control. I got myself under control and learned how to start coping with these things. I think the point about this, though, is what got me thinking about it was I was feeling some anxiety, not nearly, I don't know, it's probably bad still, but it's not as bad as it was. So, but I was feeling some the other day, and I was thinking about it as I was driving, and I was like, I wish that I was more like, such and such. They're so chill, they're so laid back. And then I thought, I don't know that. I was actually talking to somebody else that same day who I would never kind of guess was somebody who struggled with anxiety. And it was really good to talk to that person about it too. So we don't know. We don't know what struggles people face inside of our heads. They're things that we tend to keep to ourselves. Be like, hey, I'm Helen, I have anxiety and OCD. It's just not something that we do. But know that, there are other people, there are a lot of people out there that suffer from this. And we can't just look at a person and say, oh, wow, that person's got it all together, and I bet they don't stress over things, and I don't bet they get all obsessive compulsive about whatever, or they don't get depressed. We don't know. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes in anybody else's life. So it's this thing that you have, whatever. If you don't have it, then lucky you. Whatever it is part of what makes you you. So while I don't like my anxiety, I don't like my OCD, they are part of me. And so I'm really sensitive when people say something like, wow, you're high strung, or you're a type A. I take that personally, and I kind of take it as an insult. I feel like somebody's insulting me, even though I'm like, yeah, yep, that's me. But I'm nowhere near what I used to be, and that always kind of frustrates me when I feel like people can't see the progress that I've made. I'm so much more relaxed than I was, say, 15, 20 years ago. I've learned how to take things in stride. I've learned how not to get myself worked up for the most part. When I do, watch out. But I've really learned how to kind of overall just kind of go with things and not freak out or obsess about them. I think part of it's age. I think part of it is really, really working on it too. Being really aware of it and really, really working on me. I do a lot of work on me. So I think, what did I do to make myself feel? I'm not better in terms of like the stuff being gone. It's always going to be there. You have to learn how to cope, how to make it part of your life so that you can live your life, because it's not going to go away. So, it's therapy, medication, prescribed kind. I've done a lot with like not so much like lengthy meditation, but short meditations, like mindfulness type things. Those things can keep me from getting like too panicky, because it takes me out of myself. When I spend too much time up here, that's when I run into trouble. So those are the other thing that really helps is talking to someone. Say, hey, look, I'm feeling really anxious right now. And they'd be like, hey, me too. It's amazing. So the things that really do help are slowing down for me, cutting back on the stimulus. Like if I've got the phone going and the TV going and the lights are on and it's like, oh my God, it's too much, and that makes your brain kind of a little bit frazzled. Saying it out loud, as I said, asking for help. I'm having a tough time. I'm struggling right now. Can you help me with? That's a huge one. And not trying to be perfect. Perfectionism is like my worst enemy. It is the thing that makes my OCD, my anxiety, everything really, really bad. So that's, again, I'm not perfect. I'm, so it's something that I continue to work on. I continue to work on me. But if you are one of those people, in closing, if you are one of those people that suffer from anxiety, depression, OCD, bipolar, there's a whole, host of things. It's part of you. It's part of who you are. We may not like it, but it's part of what makes us us. So we have to figure out how to embrace it, how to live with it in a way that gives us our lives. Okay? Have a good one.